The door to the pediatric ward opened slowly, and in walked a German shepherd. Every nurse stopped what they were doing. Even the heart monitors seemed to hold their breath. His name was Rex, a dog that had been by one little boy's side since the day he was born. And that day, he wasn't just visiting. He was coming to say goodbye. Before we go on, if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit subscribe. It only takes a moment, but it means everything to us. Inside the small hospital room, under the dim white light, a baby named Eli lay still. 8 months old, fragile. Tubes ran from his nose and chest, feeding him air and medicine. Machines whispered quietly around him, steady, controlled, alive. His mother stood near the bed, motionless, one hand on the railing, the other clutching a small blue blanket to her chest. When Rex entered the room, she gasped softly. The nurses had told her they'd make an exception. Just a few minutes, they said. But when Rex stepped forward, slow and careful, it felt like the whole room took a breath together. His nails clicked softly on the tile. He looked up at the bed, then at her, as if asking for permission. She nodded through her tears. "Go ahead, boy," she whispered. Rex approached the crib. He lowered his head and pressed his nose gently against the blanket covering Eli's arm. The room was silent except for the faint hum of oxygen. Then Eli's tiny hand moved. Just a twitch, but enough. His fingers brushed through Rex's fur. And for the first time in days, Eli smiled. His mother covered her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. Even the doctor standing near the door froze. He looked at the monitor, then back at the baby. The beeping was steadier now. Not perfect, but steadier. Rex didn't bark, didn't move. He just stayed there, still focused, like he understood. The mother whispered, barely holding her voice. "He knows you, sweetheart. He's here." Rex tilted his head, ears forward, eyes locked on Eli's face. And Eli, weak, barely conscious, smiled again. One nurse quietly whispered, "I think he recognizes the scent. It's calming him." No one answered. They just watched, because in that moment, the air in the room felt different. Rex had been part of Eli's life since the beginning. He was there the day they brought the baby home, the day the first fever came, the night the cough wouldn't stop. When the mother called the ambulance that final night, Rex tried to climb in with them, but they closed the door. He chased it until his paws gave out, and then he waited outside those glass hospital doors. Rain, wind, 3 nights straight. Security tried to move him. He wouldn't go. He lay near the entrance, head on his paws, watching every person who passed, waiting for the one face that mattered. Until one nurse, the same one who was now crying quietly in that room, said, "Doctor, please, just once, let him see the boy." And the doctor, who hadn't smiled in days, finally nodded. If you're still here listening, it means you feel it too. Go ahead and subscribe, because every week there's another story that speaks to the heart like this one. Back in the room, Rex stood perfectly still. He let Eli's fingers rest in his fur. Then suddenly, a faint sound came from him. A low whine, not loud, but full of something everyone could feel. The mother looked at the doctor. The doctor glanced at the monitor. The heartbeat, which had been slow, began to rise. Just a little. One nurse whispered, "His oxygen's improving," another said. "It's reflex. Maybe comfort response." But whatever it was happening. Eli's color changed, faintly at first. Less gray, more pink. And then, for the first time in hours, he took a deep breath. The mother fell to her knees, hands shaking. "Rex," she whispered. "You waited for him." Rex looked up at her, eyes calm, almost human, then back to Eli. He lowered his head again, breathing softly near the baby's face. The nurse stepped back. No one said a word. The doctor finally whispered, "Let him stay." That night, Rex didn't move from the side of the bed. When nurses came to check vitals, he lifted his head, watched, then lay back down. When the machines beeped, he flicked an ear but didn't leave. He stayed through the night, and in the early hours of morning, just before sunrise, Eli's vitals stabilized. Not a miracle, not magic, just life responding to love. The next day, the doctor said quietly, whatever triggered it, it was neurological, maybe the sensory connection. The familiar smell, the touch, it could have re-stimulated his autonomic system. But his voice cracked when he said it. Because they all knew, no science could fully explain what they'd seen. News spread. The video of Rex lying beside Eli reached people all over the world. They called him the dog who waited. But for the hospital staff, he was more than that. He was a reminder that sometimes healing isn't only in medicine, it's in moments. Weeks passed. Eli got stronger. The machines came off one by one. Oxygen IV, until only a small heart monitor remained. Every morning, Rex returned. He'd sit by the glass door of the pediatric wing until someone opened it. The nurses stopped questioning it. They'd just smile and say, "Morning, Rex." He'd walk through the hall, slow and quiet, tail low, never barking. Sometimes he'd stop near another child's bed, rest his chin on the railing for a few seconds, then move on. Parents began waiting for him. Doctors noticed something too. The ward was calmer. The kids slept better. Some even recovered faster. Coincidence? Maybe. But no one wanted to stop it. One evening, the mother sat beside Eli's bed, looking at the monitors. Steady, healthy, almost normal. Eli was awake now, laughing softly, reaching for Rex's ear. Rex sat beside him, eyes half closed, completely still, like a guard on duty. The mother smiled and whispered, "You saved him, boy." Rex didn't move, but his tail thumped once against the floor. The doctor came in quietly and said, "He's stable enough for home care in a week or two." She looked at Rex. "He's coming too," she said. The doctor smiled. "I wouldn't dare say no." When they finally took Eli home, Rex rode in the back seat beside him, his head near the car seat, eyes watching the baby's chest rise and fall. Every breath mattered now. Every laugh was proof. Neighbors came out as they arrived. The family who everyone thought had lost everything, now holding the miracle they'd prayed for. The mother carried Eli inside. Rex followed, sitting near the crib like he used to. Same spot, same watchful eyes. And that night when Eli cried, Rex nudged the mother awake. Old habits are back in place. Months turned into a year. Eli started crawling, then standing, and every time he fell, Rex was there, steady, patient, gentle. The pediatrician later said, "I've seen emotional bonds help recovery before, but not like this. That dog might have triggered something we still don't understand." But the mother didn't need explanations. She just smiled and said, "Some things you don't measure in data." Time passed. Eli grew stronger. Rex grew older. But the bond never changed. They'd walk every morning, down the same street, past the same hospital where everything began. Rex would stop by the doors, look inside through the glass for a moment, then turn back, satisfied. The nurses inside still remembered him. They kept a small plaque near the entrance that read, "In honor of Rex, the dog who reminded us what hope looks like." One afternoon, years later, the mother brought Eli back for a routine checkup. He was 4 now, healthy, full of energy. And Rex was still beside him, walking a little slower these days. The staff smiled when they saw them. The doctor bent down and scratched Rex behind the ear. "How's our miracle worker?" he asked. Rex wagged his tail weakly, still polite, still calm. They all laughed. Even the kids in the waiting area clapped when they recognized him. That night at home, the mother watched Eli asleep, peaceful, breathing steady. Rex was lying near the foot of the bed. She whispered softly, "You can rest now, boy. You did everything you promised." Rex lifted his head slightly, then lay it back down, eyes half closed, calm, safe. Because deep down, maybe he knew his job was done. If you're still listening, it means this story touched something inside you. Don't scroll away. Tap the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because love like this deserves to be remembered. The next morning when she came to check on them, Rex was still there, but stiller than before. He looked like he was just sleeping, but she knew. She sat down beside him, tears filling her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you." Eli woke up and crawled over, touching Rex's fur. He didn't cry. He just said softly, "Bye, Rex." They buried him under the oak tree in the yard, the one that caught the afternoon sun. Eli placed one of his small blue blankets there, the same kind that Rex had nuzzled the day he saved him. And that night, as the mother sat by the window, she looked toward that tree and smiled through her tears. Because every time the wind moved through the leaves, she could almost hear it. The faint sound of paws walking softly across the floor. Months later, the hospital dedicated a small room for therapy dogs. They called it Rex's room, a place where children could spend time with trained dogs for comfort and healing. The first time Eli visited again, he walked in quietly, looking around. He knelt near one of the new therapy dogs and whispered, "My friend used to be here." The nurse smiled. We know he started all this. Sometimes healing doesn't come from medicine alone. Sometimes it comes from something we can't measure, a heartbeat beside another heartbeat, a breath that reminds us we're not alone. Rex didn't perform a miracle. He reminded everyone what love can do when science reaches its limit. And Eli, he grew up with that lesson written in his heart. That life, no matter how fragile, fights hardest when love is near. Because sometimes, the greatest healers don't wear white coats. Sometimes they walk in quietly on 4 paws and stay until we're ready to live again. For every loyal dog like Rex, let's keep their stories alive. Hit that like button for them. And subscribe if you believe animals truly understand us.